This time, we are talking about a major shock currently shaking China's solar panel industry. However, this is an issue specific to domestic affairs in China, and Japan has its own set of considerations that need to be addressed. In this discussion, I'd like to dive deeper into these aspects and share them with you. So, first, let's take a look at this article. This article discusses how, in China, when exporting solar panels, there is a rebate on taxes, known as a tax rebate or cap, but the rebate rate is set to be slashed by 30%. To be specific, the current rebate rate of 13% will be reduced to 9%, starting December 1st. This sudden announcement came from China's Ministry of Finance and its State Taxation Administration, causing a significant upheaval in the country's solar panel industry. Now, China's solar panel industry, much like other sectors, is highly competitive. In situations where competition is fierce, companies generally adopt one of two strategies to outcompete others: excelling in technology or reducing prices. In China, the competition often leans toward price reductions. As a result, Chinese solar panel manufacturers have been locked in a price-cutting war, which has significantly eroded their profits. Currently, the industry's average profit margin is said to be around 7%. However, this profit margin is calculated based on the assumption of a 13% tax rebate. With the rebate being reduced to 9%, a 30% reduction, this change could spell life or death for companies with low profit margins. While the 7% profit margin is an industry average, some companies operate on even thinner margins, relying on the tax rebate to remain profitable when exporting. For such companies, the rebate cut is akin to a death sentence. Moreover, as this decision was announced suddenly, companies have had little time to prepare, increasing the likelihood of bankruptcies within the solar panel industry. If the government had announced this plan a year ago, stating that the rebate would gradually decrease from 13% to 9% by the end of the following year, companies would have had time to make adjustments. However, the abruptness of the announcement leaves many businesses with no options. As for the Chinese government's intentions, specifically, the Ministry of Finance's rationale behind this sudden move, one reason being cited is that Chinese solar panel manufacturers are already globally competitive. Thus, the government believes they no longer require tax rebates to maintain their competitive edge. By reducing the rebate, the government retains more revenue, effectively amounting to a tax increase. This decision also has implications beyond China's borders. While the Chinese government argues that their manufacturers are globally competitive, Japan's situation is starkly different. The state of Japanese solar panel production is dismal. In 2020, Mitsubishi Electric exited the solar panel market. The following year, Panasonic followed suit, and Solar Frontier, a subsidiary of Showa Shell, ceased domestic production. As a result, Japan no longer has manufacturers competing in this space. Why did this happen? Simply put, the influx of cheap Chinese products eroded the competitiveness of Japanese manufacturers. In sectors like residential solar panels, Chinese-made products have essentially dominated the market. With this domination, Chinese manufacturers have shifted to a strategy of price increases after eliminating competition. For Japan, this creates a challenging situation. Even if prices rise, there are no Japanese manufacturers left to purchase from as an alternative, forcing reliance on higher-priced Chinese products. This dependence highlights a critical need for Japan to reassess its policies. Returning to the Chinese government's intentions, another objective of reducing the rebate appears to be the elimination of weaker companies. Across various sectors in China, excessive competition is a recurring issue, leading to minimal profits despite significant production volumes. Such conditions make businesses highly vulnerable to environmental or market changes. By reducing tax rebates, the government is applying pressure that weakens inefficient or less technologically advanced companies, effectively forcing them out of the market. This can be seen as part of a broader strategy by Beijing to address issues of overproduction across numerous sectors. Additionally, the 13% rebate rate has been viewed internationally as an unfair subsidy. Reducing it may help China avoid accusations of unfair trade practices. Let's pivot back to the broader perspective. Globally, when a financially robust company enters a market and begins selling at exceptionally low prices, it forces other companies out of the market. Once competition is eliminated, the dominant company has the power to raise prices, leaving consumers with no alternatives. China has been accused of employing this strategy at a national level. For example, Chinese companies, heavily backed by the government through rebates and other support, have been able to sell solar panels at exceedingly low prices in foreign markets. This has led to the collapse of domestic manufacturers in countries like Japan. Once the market is monopolized, prices are raised. In contrast, countries like the US and Europe have implemented measures to counter such practices, citing reasons like national security or market fairness. While these reasons are often publicly justified by concerns over issues such as data security or environmental regulations, the underlying motivation often involves protecting domestic industries from Chinese competition. In conclusion, Japan must rethink its approach to protecting domestic industries and reducing dependency on Chinese imports. Without proactive measures, the country risks facing a scenario where it is entirely at the mercy of Chinese manufacturers, both in terms of supply and price.